Hello, I'm Steve Hobson, the editor of Motor Transport, and I'm here at the FORS conference to talk about the new version 7 of the FORS standard. Please introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and then we can talk a little bit about version 7.
Perfect. Hello, my name is Nerija Smilgevičiūtė and I am Quality Assurance Team Manager. Yes.
Fantastic. So as I said, version 7 launches in January next year. It seems like only yesterday we were here talking about version 6, but things move on. Can you just quickly tell us some of the highlights from your point of view of what is in the new version?
Yeah, so the key changes that are taking place, in my view, is we are bridging the gap in terms of where FORS standard is when it comes to the legal compliance, so vehicle maintenance, license checking, so we are also lining ourselves with the traffic commissioners directives, also the terms of decarbonization, well-to-wheel emissions. So yes, it's so helping operators to equip them with all the knowledge, tools, and the data outputs required to meet their own reporting requirements as well as their customer requests.
It was quite interesting today, listening to the presentation. I mean, I understand when it was the freight operator recognition scheme, it was all about recognition of a quality operator so that they could get on tender lists. It seems now to have moved on a lot more to helping operators work more efficiently, more compliantly. Is that what some of the changes are aimed at, this legal matching with the roadworthiness standards, for example? Is it about making sure operators are operating to the best and legal efficiency as well as getting on tender lists?
Yeah, so we're making sure that, so there were certain feedbacks in the industry saying, like that there is a lack of, the legal compliance, a bit of a tick box exercise as well. So we're trying to ensure, reassure the operators that you are compliant operation, as well as, yes, providing them with the tools and equip them to be ahead and beyond, being ahead of the queue when going for tender processes, and so they have that competitive advantage.
Yes. In terms of the audit, you're moving to an online process rather than the paper spreadsheets. Yes. How will that benefit your accredited operators?
So as I mentioned, was mentioned in a presentation today. So there are more evidence-based approach being adapted. So we'll look to, rather than having a lengthy spreadsheets of having maybe not as informative information, we will focus on capturing that important detail, factual details. We also enhancing the question sets by adding additional compliance questions in it. So it's more focusing on compliance as well as the best practices such as the mission. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us anything about FORS Assured and how that is going to fit in with the bronze, silver, gold levels of accreditation?
Yeah, so FORS Assured is going to sit just under the bronze level, and it will be targeted, so as Geraint mentioned in today's presentation at the conference, more like towards the van fleet operations.
You mentioned FORS Gold there and the bigger focus on decarbonisation. Operators that we talk to are really struggling with their net zero journey. Do you think FORS can help operators with this well-to-wheel calculator and giving them some, not necessarily advice on how to decarbonise, but giving them the first steps towards measuring their carbon?
Yes, that's definitely something that we are working on currently. So we are developing the FORS emissions calculator. It will be available to use to all FORS operators, irrespective of the level of accreditation they are at. So even if you are registered, you are accredited at bronze, silver, or gold, you will have access to the tool. You will be able to implement it as a best practice to your business. So we'll be also working on a number of templates that will help, such as decarbonization strategy, fleet replacement templates. So we will also run a number of workshops for operators on version 7 of the changes. So we've done so far already bronze. We are due on silver and gold as well later this month. So there will be toolkits, guides, everything available to help them to achieve that level of the accreditation and the standard.
Am I right in thinking that the requirement now for gold is to have at least a plan to decarbonise their fleet?
Yeah, so at the gold level, we will expect operators to have a plan in place. However, as we know, plans do change subject to the operational circumstances, developments in the industry, and regulatory requirements as well. So yes, as long as we have a plan in place.
Yes. At what point do you think version 8 will start requiring more than a plan, and there will be some requirement to actually operate some sort of low or zero carbon emissions vehicles?
I think this will very much depend on the regulatory developments. Yes, yes. So
you mentioned, regulatory alignment. Earned recognition is a scheme which the DVSA has introduced a few years ago. At what point do you think FORS will become aligned with the requirements of the DVSA in terms of reporting, at least? Because the compliance levels are O-licence compliance, but the reporting requirements are quite stringent. Do you think your audit and reporting are aligned with earned recognition now?
So we are working on the way the information is being presented to us at the time of the audit. So our audits, like bronze audits, if you are at silver level, and certain other instances, we do audit on annual basis. So it means having an auditor coming every year rather than 2 years. Also, we're looking at other options, the way we could enhance the way evidence is being produced. So we're looking at seeing whether operators would be able to upload evidence beforehand, so for auditors to have a look at. So as well as silver application and gold applications are being submitted annually. So so the reporting is taking place.
I don't know if it was me, but looking at the screen today, there seemed to be quite a long list of companies now who are accredited to be FORS auditors. Have you increased the number of companies who are allowed to do FORS audits, and who are these people? I didn't recognise some of the names.
Oh, currently we work with 5 audit providers. Yes, so it's the latest audit provider that joined this scheme is Logistics UK. So yes, we work quite close with with them, building the relationships in the industry as well. So yes, and then we got another 4 audit providers on board that has been with us for quite some time, which is DriveTech, Decra, JCS, and Malbay.
Okay. And are you, as FORS, are you accredited by anybody? Are you UCAS accredited, for example? Who audits the auditors?
Who audits the auditors? Very good question. So we have audit providers and ourselves do monitor the quality of the auditors. So we have random checks that are quality checks that are being completed on auditors. So what we would do, we would do unannounced QAs on them, so would log in at any time during the live audits that they are undertaking. Every auditor should be going through an annual QA with their audit provider as well. So we're undertaking auditor training every 2 years once the version changes. We just have done 4 sessions across the country to make sure that they are aware of the new version of the standard, and they are comfortable of auditing against it. So so we meet with audit providers and their lead auditors every quarter as well to make sure they are on top of everything. We got auditor guidance documents. So we look after our auditors to make sure they are spot on.
Superb. Marija, thank you so much indeed.
No,
It'll be a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for your help. Thank you.